In the third and final video of making a grid-based level builder in Unity, we will be making these 4 methods that will finish off our level builder. In the check tile probability method, we loop over our for loop while x is less than our child count for the selected node. Then for each child count, we get the child with that index to get component tile, and then if the tile component isn't null and probable, it will return true as it is probable. And if it isn't null but is not unprobable, then it will return false due to not being probable. And then if it manages to leap for each loop, it will return false after doing one, making sure you know that that tile isn't probable. In the clear old objects method, we use a for loop to go through x while we are less than a node's child count. For each x, for each loop we will get a child game object with the same index as the x. Then we check if the folder is equals to props or tiles, and that the game object doesn't have the respective script for that folder name. And then if that's the case, it continues to the next iteration of the loop. Otherwise, it will destroy the found game object. The place new object method is a generic method which handles the placement of the different objects on our level builder. More specifically, our props and tiles. We'll use this. First, we use our getObjects and getObjects path with a folder to get our prefabs. Then we determine our index for the prefab by checking first if the type of our generic T is the type of prop, then it will do the selected prop index if that is true, and the selected tile index if it's not true. Then we will get our game object we will be placing by using the index with our game objects array. Then we initialize a vector3. And then we make a reference from our type parameter and try to get a component from our script using it by doing selected object dot get type and t with the t. Then we check if the type variable is null and we give a warning and end the method if it is the case. After that, we check if the folder equals tiles. If that is the case, we will clear the props using our clear old objects method. For either case, we will clear the old objects for whatever folder we are in. Then if the type of our t-type parameter is of prop, we will check the tile probability, and if it is false, we will end the method. And if it isn't false, we will set our vector3 object position offset using our bottom as the y and putting 0 as the other numbers, and starting off and adding the vector to our currently selected node's position. And then if the type isn't prop, we will update the object position offset only. And for this, we do the same thing as doing the selected node's position and adding a vector 3 with 0x, the tile component's top variable float as y, and 0 as z. Then we instantiate the prefab using the prefab utility. Instantiate prefab, which takes the object, which is our selected object, and then a parent transform, which is our selected node dot transform. We use this instead of just instantiate so that our game objects are still linked as a prefab and shows like blue, so that you can still change it using the prefab. Then we update its position using the offset. After that, we check what the type parameter t, if it's prop or tile. And then if it's prop, we set the props scripts build area to our selected node build area. And same thing for the else, but with the tile script for the object. The last thing we will need to do is make our onSelection change method. Before we do that, at the beginning, say that we need to make sure we have the node variable for our currently selected node. And our onSelection change method will check if our current selection active game object, which is the one shown in this vector, is not equals to null. And if it's not equals to null, we use it to get a node component. Try again node component, and if the node component is not equals to null, then we'll set the selected node equals to the node script. And then if we are in the tiles tab, we will call our place new objects method with tiles as our t type parameter and tiles as our folder. And then if we are in props tab, call our place new objects method with prop as our prop script as our t type parameter and props as our folder. And then if the node script is null, we'll just make sure the selected node equals null. And then one thing, you want to make sure your props have the prop scripts and your tiles have the tile script with setting if they're probable or non-probable. And for the tiles also setting the topple at the top of the object so that it is created where you want on the build area, and may need to be making adjustments through trial and error. Both for that and the bottom for the prop script will both need making adjustments and possibly using trial and error. Now we have our finished grid-based level builder in Unity. That allows you to set variables to create a build area. Then with this, you can place tabs on the build area, and you're able to place props on top of these tiles. There are also different ways you can try expanding this level editor. For example, you can make a layering system that will allow you to layer tiles or even props. For example, make it that at these assets, being able to have the water under the bridge. And now here's a function of making a level quickly using the editor.